Back with an Amazon-only instrument. Reviews that I do to redress some of the balance for their, frankly, broken review system. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's GotAUkulele review day. Welcome back. This is the summary video review. If you see the link below the video, that'll take you to the website. You'll see scores, pictures, a lot more detail about this instrument. My thank yous running across the bottom of the screen. These are the supporters of GotAUkulele that help keep it going, because I don't take money from the brands or the stores to do this, because I couldn't give you a review that way that was fair. And if you like what you see on the GotAUkulele channel, why not think about helping me out? Hit that subscribe button. You'll get notified about new stuff that comes your way when I put it up. Yeah, Amazon instruments. I don't recommend people buy from Amazon because you don't tend to get a setup. I mean, they're straight from the factory. They arrive in the box from the factory. A lot of people wrongly think that I assume that everything that I review that's on Amazon is bad. That's not true. Occasionally you get some diamonds that come through. Brands like Donna, Enya were I first found on Amazon, and they're pretty good. But generally speaking, they're pretty poor. And this is another one. This is not one of these Amazon choices, but it is one of those ones that's got a suspiciously high rating. Lots of people giving it 5 stars. This is the Huawind, I don't know the pronunciation, Huawind concert ukulele. And from first glance, looking at it, it is a pretty standard looking, mahogany looking instrument. It's made of all laminate. They don't go to any great lengths to point out that it's laminate, but it is. But they do use lots of words like professional and high quality, so they're bigging it up in their description. It's a laminate mahogany body, 2 pieces on the top, 2 pieces on the flat back, and a single piece on the sides. And as I say, from first glance, it looks pretty well made actually. The grain is quite attractive, plain, a bit pale, but it's quite attractive. I can't find any open seams or problems with the build on the body, gaps or scruffiness in the finishing down here, so things are starting to look up. The bridge is what they specify as scientific wood, which I think means it's that term technical wood. Now that either means it's composite wood, lots of pieces glued together into a new block and shaped, or it's paler wood that is stained. I can't see that it's composite, so I think it is the latter. It is actually pretty scruffy though. As you can see, it's screwed in place, hidden with these really ugly plug holes. My first gripe, and I don't know whether I can show you this, but you're gonna have to take my word for it, is it is coming away at the bottom. It's lifting off the soundboard. That's not a good sign. The screws will probably hold it in place, but it shouldn't be like that. Next problem, the plastic saddle is dipping forwards. I can't get the focus. It's too narrow for the slot. That means it's going to affect intonation. It's dipping like this. That's wrong. The wood's quite scruffy too. There's no other decoration to it in terms of binding and things like that, but you do get my pet hate, which is laser etching of the name of the instrument around the sound hole. And I must say, the laser etching on this one, I think the laser etcher was drunk. It's got the jitters. It's horrible. It's really badly done. Yeah, it's awful. If you're going to do it, get it right. It's wobbly. It's just looks really cheap. It's an open pore satin on the body. Hate that laser etching. Looking inside, pretty tidy. Bit of glue mess down here. Not notched kerfing, straight kerfing. The braces strangely don't meet the edges. They only sort of, they're kind of about a centimetre short either side, don't know why. It's quite thin on the top though, which bodes well, so you've got potentially a resonant box here. Up to the neck, this isn't specified. And I really don't know what it is, but it is absolutely hideous. It may as well be a tree branch. Look at that. Oh my word, oh my word, oh my word. There's no finish on one side of the heel at all here. You've got gouge scratches in it, left, right and centre. It, as I say, looks like a tree branch. Up here, the joint is not even flush because it's been filled in with filler. It's one of the worst looking necks I've ever seen. It's fairly flattened up here, but it's very narrow. It's only 33 mil at the nut, 27 from G to A, far too narrow for me. Topped in more of what the scientific wood, which again, I'm not going to be able to show you, but there are gouge scratches in it all over the place. It looks in good condition. It's not dry, but it's it just needs sanding. It's really untidy all over it. Don't like it at all. It's edge bound in black, but that doesn't stop. The edges of the frets are really sharp. They're some of the worst fret dressings I've seen. You get 18 of those, 14 to the body. White position dots face out at 5, 7, 10, double at 12, 15 and 17. And there are no side dots. This is a really awful neck. It's really scruffy. It's too narrow. Beyond the plastic nut, this headstock, very generic shape. It's not faced, so it's the same wood as the neck, whatever that is. So it comes complete with that really ugly knot in the front of it. Huawind logo is laser etched in the top and looks quite plain. Again, more scruffiness on the top of it here. Oh, I wish I could get this focus right. More scruffiness on the top. Yeah, not nice. The tuners are generic open gears with enormous black buttons, which are all scuffed and bashed. I've just noticed that Huawind logo on the headstock is not actually straight. The tuners are awful. They're really grindy to turn. The strings look like Aquila, but they're not. There's no swing tag to say that they're Aquila. I think they're white nylon, and I say that because they're taking ages to settle. They're really stretchy. So there we are. And it comes in, oh, you get a, I can't even find it, pointless gig bag, dust cover. They're useless. I don't know why they include them. And it comes in at £40, so not a lot of money, really cheap. But there's lots of instruments out there that are really cheap at about 40 quid, and it's got a lot of instruments to compare to. As you can see, apart from the body, which I think is all right, it just then goes from bad to worse. The bridge is lifting, the saddle is tilted, the neck is ugly as you like, it's narrow, the fingerboard is really poorly finished, the frets are really poorly finished, there's a knot in the headstock, the tuners are poor. So it may be cheap, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's good value for money. It is, however, light, 410 grams, balances well at the 12th. So we've got thin body, top, lightweight, should be resonant, shouldn't it? Should be a player, perhaps? Maybe there's something in this. You know, you have to bear with me, these strings are still stretching. That'll do. Volume. Alright, actually. The volume's alright. It's not the loudest instrument I've ever played, but it's alright. The sustain, though, is pretty poor. It hasn't got a lot of sustain, which is surprising for such a thin body, which goes to show that it's not just about thinness, it's about bracing position and keeping the top in tension. Because it doesn't have a lot of sustain, and instruments that don't have a lot of sustain don't tend to have a lot of character because you can't put frills into your playing. Oh, I'd just say, the action at the 12th is appalling here. It's way above 3mm over the 12th fret. That's far too high. It's also really narrow down here, 34mm string spacing. That makes it really hard to play up the fingerboard because you've got high strings, very narrow spacing. I don't like that at all. Weirdly though, the intonation, despite that high string action, is kind of bang on, and I think it's being compensated by the tilting saddle. That's not right. The saddle shouldn't be like that. So I think it's more luck than judgment that the intonation has come out okay because of the tilting saddle. Plays as a ukulele. Those are G, C, E, A notes. So it sounds like a ukulele, but it's very flat in character. There's not a lot of pep to it. There's no real harmonics going on. It's very, very flat, one-dimensional. Very difficult to play, I find. Far too narrow up here, but that's just me. It's got that echoiness that cheap laminates have. sustain, and therefore no character. Finger picking's a bit nicer. It's dead. Alright, it's not the worst instrument sounding I've ever played, but it's far from the best. I've played much worse in ukuleles at this sort of money and a bit less. But there's far too much wrong here. Apart from that fairly tidy body, we've got problems with the bridge, we've got problems with the neck, we've got problems with the fingerboard, we've got problems with the frets, the tuners are horrible. The question is why, oh, and the setup's poor as well. Why would you get this when you can get something like the instruments from Donna, which really impressed me for the money, about the same price? The Octopus Concert is less than this and is a far better instrument, both in terms of sound, playability and quality control. The Flight Travel Concert is a bit more than this, or the Flight Long Neck Soprano Travel is about the same price and is eminently a better instrument than this. This is in a minefield of a massive range of instruments at this sort of price, and it just doesn't cut it. It can be done. I am not dismissing all cheap instruments. As I say, look on the website, look on the reviews page, you'll find lots where I've given them pretty reasonable scores. This doesn't get a reasonable score. It's certainly marked down for fit and finish because it's poor. The sound is really uninspiring, and whilst it's cheap, it doesn't get a good value for money score either, for the simple reason that it can be beaten. It's quite easy to find instruments which are far better than this. This is a real letdown. Not the worst instrument I've ever seen, but it's far from the best. I'm just looking at other things now, like the neck is, the heel is not straight. I actually sighted down as well. There's a bit of a twist on the neck as well. The list just goes on and on and on. So the question therefore is, yeah, it may seem to be cheap, but why would you? Why would you? And I certainly wouldn't recommend that you do. I would give this a real wide berth. Check out my reviews on the full page. You'll find lots of other alternatives with better scores than this one, about the same price. This is not the one for you. The Huawind concert ukulele, really quite disappointing. Alright, thanks for watching. I'm back next week. Fully booked up now to the end of November, so it's just busy. And I've got all sorts of things coming. Different price points, different sorts of instruments, you name it, they're all coming. I hope you enjoyed that, and thanks again for watching. Go carefully this week, stay safe, and enjoy yourselves. Sun's out, might go out this afternoon for a bit of a walk. I hope you're well. Thanks very much. See you soon. Bye-bye.